And William, is it surprising that suddenly people have been withdrawing support from Kate Forbes? Did they not know about her evangelical Christian views when she announced?
Well, yes, she's been an MSP since 2016. So it is rather shocking that her fellow MSPs have only just discovered that she actually believes in the word of the Bible. I would say that it's perhaps a bit of a sort of concocted row in the sense that polling has suggested that the views of a lot of SNP members are relatively socially conservative, indeed just behind the Conservatives when it comes to major parties. But I think the more important thing is that it's shown that Kate Forbes, who is only 32 and has been on maternity leave for most of the last year, is relatively politically inexperienced. She reminds me of Rishi Sunak last year when confronted about his wife's tax affairs. She should have known that these questions were going to come. We've seen a similar experience with Tim Farron a few years ago when he was continually asked about gay sex during the 2017 general election. And she should have had some sort of media strategy ready. The fact that she has been confronted by these questions, answered them honestly, and then not known how to handle the controversy that it's caused means that she has gone from being the bookies' favourite to being an almost no-hoper in the space of about a day, which even in this age of Liz Truss and the like seems relatively quick.
It certainly does, but are we being too critical here? Should we really be wanting our politicians to come up with non-answers to questions, to have these sort of media strategies? Isn't it to some extent refreshing, even if it was somewhat kamikaze, for Kate Forbes to actually say what she thinks?
Well, yes, I mean, in a country where now fewer than half of us describe ourselves as Christian, down about 30% in the last 2 decades, it is refreshing to have somebody of faith in public life who's willing to be honest about it. But I think she also needs to understand the political environments in which she exists. She's not necessarily a victim of aggressive secularism, but just her own lack of skill at sort of political discourse. And I think something that's also important to note about Kate Forbes is that she has managed to get through the first 7 years of her political career without this being an issue. And Humza Yousaf, who you just mentioned, despite himself being a Muslim, has said that he sort of beds down his own religious views when coming to vote on legislation like this for the broader good of the SNP. So I guess what party members, or indeed just her SNPs, want for her is to render unto the SNP what is the SNP's, and render unto God what is God, to misquote, I can't remember which book of the Bible it is, but you know what I mean.